I don't think we can hear you, Michelle. She's saying all her profanity words first. She's getting her profanity words out first. Just that's kind of like what we like to do on Fridays. We like to just say all her curse words, get those out first. That way she feels so released and it's figured out Friday cursing style. So while she's figuring out what's going on with her volume, I will say good morning to everybody. So, good morning, everybody. Happy Figure It Out Friday Authors Edition to you all. Good morning. Say good morning in the chat. Say What up, Manuel? Good to see you, brother. Good to see you. What up, Jill? Good morning to you, Kimberly. What up, Chet? Bethany? Who else we got here? John Hart. We always got John Hart. John Hart, I think, has the record. He's 3 years in a row. Well, it's hard to beat that record right now. He's been here, one of our OGs that we have. A lot of OGs on here. Sharon, good morning to you. Kat, Coach Sonona from good old New York City. Good old up there. Good morning to Wendy down in Florida. David, he's got Nashville. David has got Nashville taken care of. Let's see. Who else? Bethany's here. Bethany. Good morning to you, Bethany. Fred's got New York covered too. We got the Northeast taken. What up, Jill? Good morning to you. Florida's in the house. Latrice, good morning to you. Kimberly, always a pleasure to see. See, Kimberly's daughter lives next to me, so I get to see Kimberly quite a bit. She keeps bebopping over in our cul-de-sac. I'm like, hey, you, what are you doing over here? So good morning to you, Kimberly. Good morning to you all. Happy Figured Out Friday. My name is Coach Brock Zivan, life coach, business coach, real estate coach, a DAD, and I'm also known as Fill In. Fill In. That is me this week. Poor Poor Britt, she called me. She was in Hawaii. That's why she wasn't able to be on here on Wednesday. She's like, and then we were texting her. She's like, Brock, I was 6 hours behind. And so she felt terrible. So we're going to try to squeeze her in because she had a really good message. So we're going to try to squeeze her in. But I fill in for that, filled in for that. And this morning, while Michelle is still saying her profanity, I still haven't seen her yet. We're just going to rock and roll on this wonderful Friday. So just put TGIF in the chat. Put TGIF in the pat. Put in chat, and chat. I'm getting my word. I'm looking at chat and was trying to say chat all at the same time. So I'm going to say good morning to Chet. Good morning to you, brother. Good morning to you, man. Did you get your swim in this morning, Chet? Did you get your swim in this? That guy, him and Paul go swimming every morning, just about. God bless those guys. I love it. What up, Jesse? Good morning to you, GSE. Oh, I think we have Michelle because I was just ready to start and go and Michelle because we got Floyd. He's waiting. He's at the beach. He's at damn. You know what else he's got? He's also dressed to impress. You see that, Fred? He's showing us up, Fred, isn't he? He's getting all dressed up and snazzed up. Man, he's looking sharp and fresh today. So man, I can't wait to have you on here, Floyd. So Michelle, are you there, Michelle?
Can you hear me?
Oh, guys, put a five in the chat because we can hear Michelle now. Put a five in the chat. I never met Floyd, but I was getting ready to just dive right into Floyd over here and just start asking him a lot of questions. He's probably like, man, I don't even know this guy. And he's just going right at it over here. But anybody who's dressed like that on the nines at 8:20 in the morning, 7:20, I'm not even too sure what time zone he's in. I'm like, that guy's sharp. That guy's looking good. So Michelle, introduce our amazing guest and glad to have you here with your voice, Michelle, with your voice this morning.
Oh, what a day. This particular um, author and now friend of mine, I think we have battled all obstacles in order to make it happen because at every part of the road, something has happened and I've had to figure it out and it's been so embarrassing. But anyway, one of the reasons that we do this is we want to bring people together who have had lots of obstacles, things that they figured it out over the years. And uh, also, I was looking at uh, basically having people share their own stories, and we will at one point in time, Brock, we're going to have an anthology out there and it's going to be incredible. So I've done some research, and one of the things that I found out about Floyd is he has been part of two different anthologies. Um, and each one has been a little bit different as far as background.
Michelle, let me ask you one question if you don't mind. See,
What?
I'm just gonna be honest. I'm not the smartest kid. I didn't do very good in English. But when you kept saying to me anthology, I kept thinking like dinosaurs. I kept thinking like we were doing something with like some sort of like I didn't even know. So I'm not
What?
gonna ask anybody who else doesn't know what anthology is, but like I'm just gonna be honest, I had no idea what anthology was.
Okay.
So
What?
for us people who are like who didn't do very well in school, what in the world is an anthology?
Well, let me just put it in very simple terms. It's an opportunity for people to write their story.
Okay.
End of thing. And it many times it has to do in our situation, our business stories. And one of the things that Floyd, he's done one on hard lessons learned, and then
Hmm.
he has another one on elevate and empower. And so, what we were looking at in collecting short stories from people, like a chapter, in order to, many people want to start writing a book, but they don't know where to start. Well, it starts by writing a chapter. And so, this also gives each author that is part of the anthology the ability to promote the book, and they become an author and recognized speaker. So, without further ado, we got so much going on this morning. Floyd has been and overcome many obstacles. 25 years, over 25 years in the U.S. Navy, 15 as a Navy SEAL.
Thank you for your
Floyd,
services, Floyd.
yes, absolutely. And he's an award winning author, national speaker. So, without further ado, please join me in welcoming Floyd McLendon Jr. We're so honored to have you here. Let's see some fives in the chat.
Good morning. Thank you, everyone, for I'm blessed to be here, Brock and Michelle. I really appreciate it. That was a wonderful introduction, and I can't wait for us to get into it.
Awesome, awesome. So let's go back a little bit for a moment, and can you give us one defining moment or challenge that was early in your journey that shaped you to being the leader you are today?
Oh, I mean, absolutely. It started in the home when I was growing up. There was there was some abuse there, by my dad when it came to my mom and when it came to myself and the siblings. So, I mean, it started there, and it just progressively grew. And I talk about this in my book, Hard Earned Lessons, but I frame it more in a positive sense because it did really shape me in who I came to be as far as my character and integrity and a person of my word. And I mean, today my father and I we have a wonderful relationship. It took us some time to work through those issues, but we're in a really good place. So that was the start of it.
That's incredible. I mean, you overcame that, and then what made you decide to join the Navy?
Honestly, I was just trying to get out of the south side of Chicago. I grew up in Chicago, and as we know, it is a challenging area for for youth. I had gone to college just to get away from home, to get away from that environment, and I didn't have the structure to dedicate myself to academics. And then once that didn't work out, I realized, I couldn't stay at home. I'd either be in jail or dead in 2 years. So the military immediately became an option. And I was off to the Navy with the expectation of only 6 years, and I did over 25.
Wow, that's incredible. But okay, you joined the Navy, but you didn't start out as a Navy SEAL in day one. So, what was your little bit of a journey in order to become a Navy SEAL?
I had no idea what a Navy SEAL was when I first joined the Navy. And to top it off, Michelle, I didn't know how to swim. So around six years into my career, I was looking at an opportunity to do 20 years in the Navy. But I wasn't set on being an electronic technician, which I was a radar and satellite communications expert. It just didn't resonate with me to do that for 20 years. So I started to do the research. I ran across a colleague of mine started training to go to basic underwater demolition SEAL school. And I just wanted to learn how to swim. So I asked if I can train with him. He said yes. And then I started to do the research and I looked into it and I was like, oh, this is a very interesting profession. Let me, let me see what this is about. And that's where the journey started. And it took me 6 years from the time that I wanted to become a Navy SEAL to the time that I became a Navy SEAL.
Wow, that's quite a journey. And I know Brock is getting ready. He's got 20 million questions that he wants to ask you, but um, you didn't give up. And I mean, it took you 6 years. I mean, was it 6 years in order to do it one time, or 6 years to, what was that process?
I went to BUDS. We call it BUDS. That's the abbreviation for it, for SEAL training. I went twice. The first time, I developed a gastrointestinal virus, which caused me to lose 30 pounds in less than 8 weeks. And I was concerned about my health. And so I took a gamble and I quit. But I was blessed to come back in 15 months and I completed the training.
Wow, that is really amazing, and that's one of the things that uh, we talk about here is having grit. Enough to just follow through and to be able to say, "Hey, regardless of what happened in the past, I'm going to do this," and doing whatever it takes in order to get there. That's incredible. Um, we figure it out, and even even in getting you on this broadcast, I'm going like, this has been the most frustrating. uh, they haven't been all this challenging, I tell you. Let's see, you can
Michelle,
let's
I want to ask you one question. I want to ask him a
okay,
question.
I know you've been waiting.
Whether because you said something to me that really caught my ear because most people don't do what you did, and it's not so much. And I'm one very very impressed. I was like when you said buds and everything else. And several of us on here who read the book David Goggins. I was like that's just that was him. Like you were that couldn't swim and everything else. But you talked about the physical aspect of you. But you said something to me that really sparked my interest. And if you don't mind, I'd like to go back to your father because most people who have a relationship with their parents at a young age that it doesn't go very well, there's domestic abuse, there's violence, there's like you don't hear them usually rekindling. You hear resentfulness throughout each other's lives. They completely separate. Like I haven't, like I was expecting you to say, like, so I haven't talked to my father in so many years. And so like when you're like, oh yeah, my dad and I are like good friends now, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but you have a relationship here. And to me, not only like I get the physical, so I don't want to take that away, but I think you have another level, another gear that most people don't have is overcoming emotional abuse in a way that's also in a relationship because it's very hard to forgive or whatever the situation might be with you and your father. Like that's your dad. And for you to go, and I like for you if you can elaborate a little bit more, like that process. Like, did you like talk to him? Did he talk to you? Like, how many years did it get to? Like, you weren't just like, hey, let's go grab a cup of coffee and a beer, and now we're buds. Like how is that process? Because there's a lot of I hear a lot of that emotional and from past issues with parents. If you don't mind elaborating on that, because that to me is very, very like I was like in awe over that.
Absolutely, Brock. It was a very difficult process. I mean, it didn't happen overnight. It took years, even, a decade or two for us to come together and have the relationship that we have. And really, my mom was the nucleus of getting me to make that turn, right? as far as forgiveness. And what I've learned is forgiveness is not about the other person. It's more so about yourself, and it releases you. It releases all of that animosity and anger and things that you have harbored, right? So with that and growing to understand that, I was like, oh, okay, let's go ahead and I reached out and to mend our relationship, and it's been a really interesting and pleasant ride ever since then.
Wow. Yeah, I love the line that you said, and I saw a lot of hearts on the emojis that you really, because I hear this a lot from past, but forgiveness and forgive. I wrote down this note. Forgiveness starts with me. Like you had to go inside yourself first and start looking out the window and everything else. It starts with you. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm going through a challenge that I've been dealing with for 7 years. So like when you said a decade, I was just like, like, I feel like you and I are the only one in the room because I'm trying to figure out. And when you said forgiveness starts with me, I'm like, I gotta really lean into that a little bit more. So for me personally, thank you for sharing that because I need that. I gotta figure that out myself. And I'm sure other people by based off their hearts that we saw in the emojis here, like a lot of people have relationships internally, problems. Like I've been divorced. Like yes, okay, like that's not a problem. I just go through the court system and we get through it. But when you got like internal heart, blood, family, like to me that's a different world. And so thank you for sharing that. And Michelle or Floyd, you can follow up with that. But I just that really resonated with me. So thank you for sharing.
My pleasure.
Yeah, very good. So I'd like to kind of bring us back a little bit, since it's like 7:33. Um, you contributed to anthologies, Floyd, these two in the past, and you're writing a new book, a personal book right now. But one of the things, as you've shared your story, why do you think it is important for people to write their story and not keep those lessons to themselves?
I mean, the main reason is we're here to serve each other. That's why we were created. And if I have experiences that I've gone through and that I've had challenges with, but I've come through successfully, then it's just inherent for me to share it with you to make sure that you don't have to go through that same suffering or those same problems. So for me, it's just a natural progression of serving you and others who are open to reading, what I write about.
Yeah, and that is so very good, for those of us that are believers. Um, in the word it says we overcome by the blood of the lamb and the word of our testimony. So, and as we share the testimony, like Brock said, I really needed what you had to say this morning. It not only helps us, but it helps the other people as well. And so that's why I want to continue to encourage people here to just take 15 minutes a day and just write down, start keeping a journal, start writing things down, and soon you'll have enough to write a chapter. You'll have enough to write a book, or be a part of a book. So I'm really excited about that. We have
In
a little
reference to
bit.
that, I know Michelle's gonna get mad at me. I know she is. I just have to ask another question because when you said the word serving, it's in the Bible many times. You can Google it, chat GPT it, whatever it is, how many times serving. But when you were going through that process, so I'm an alcoholic, and for the first 2 years of my addiction problem, I was embarrassed. I didn't want to say anything to anybody because I felt like an idiot and everything else. Like, well, who's gonna trust this guy? And like I made fun of alcoholics, and here I am myself. When it changed for me was when you said serving was when I was like, I can help other people who might have addiction. It's not about me anymore, it's about other people. How is that transition for you in that serving moment? Did you have like kind of like to me it took a couple years and then somebody said to me like why aren't you helping others? Like your story could help other people. And it was like that conversation that struck. I'm like, I never really thought about it like that because I have narcissistic traits. It's all about Brock and Brock me, everything. How was that transition for you in that serving type of thing? Was it from your mother for nurturing, or how was that for you when you transformed that into like, I want to help other people?
Great question. The service for me changed when I went through Navy SEAL training because my first reason for going was strictly just my goal. I want to accomplish this. I want to become a Navy SEAL. And then once I started going through training, I understood what it took to be a Navy SEAL, meaning you had to properly prepare yourself, you had to properly educate yourself, you had to physically train and mentally put yourself in the moment so that you can complete a mission, but not only but complete your responsibility to where your brothers don't have to worry about you and what you're doing. So I learned to be in a position to serve my brothers, to serve the Navy and to serve the mission. And so that's where it started, where the shift, like, oh, it's not about me. It's about me being as best as I can be so that I can serve others so that they are protected or prepared for whatever it is that they need to go through. And it was just a natural progression as I went through Navy SEAL training. And it got even more dialed in once I became a Navy SEAL and started doing real world operations. And it just trickled over into my personal life.
That's really incredible, Floyd. And even today, I am so grateful for Brock. And he has a good team surrounding him that when I couldn't do what I needed to do this morning, he was able to just pick it up and go with it because he knew what the mission was. And thank you, Brock, for being there and getting and having my back this morning. So I want to uh, take us a little bit into today and in the future. And we said we weren't going to necessarily go there, but I'm really want to encourage people. You're stepping out on doing something, and you're running for a public office. Is that not correct?
Yes, ma'am, that is correct. I'm running for the mayor of my city.
Uh, That is really incredible. So many people today are not willing to step out and put themselves in the public space and to be able to maybe help take our cities or our states or our districts to the next level. So, what is one or two of your challenges that you may have in doing this?
Well, the first challenge is putting out a platform to where it connects with all the residents, right? All the constituents in the city. So it's getting them exposure on, and I'm interviewing for a position, right? I'm interviewing to serve them, and it's just providing information for the American people so that they can, digest it and say, hey, Floyd will be a great leader for the city, or not. But I do believe I'm the best candidate. So that's one of the most challenging. The other challenging piece is to stay on course with a positive message when you're being attacked by the opposition in a negative, nasty manner. So that can be challenging as well. So you have to have thick skin and you have to stay focused on why you're really in a position to serve.
Yeah, the question is what city? It's a small city. Do you want to share in the Dallas area?
The city is McLendon Chisholm. So yes, my last name dash Chisholm, McLendon Chisholm, Texas. I did the research. There's no relation. However, I'm owning it. So there you have it.
I love it. I love it. Floyd is practically my neighbor. It's another city that's about two or three cities away from Rowlett. It's a suburb of the Dallas area. So it's so good to be able to have you here. So let's see, for someone that's listening this morning who feels stuck or overwhelmed, do you have one practical step that they could take in order to move forward?
Oh, absolutely. First thing is pray. That I mean, that's just have a honest conversation with God because he already knows. He just want to hear it from you, and that's where I start. And I think that is the best place to start for anything that you're doing in life.
Absolutely. And on this particular show, um, we believe in prayer, and we believe that everyone is born on purpose for a purpose. So I believe that for you as well. So, Brock, I know you always have one question that you like to ask at the end of the show. Do you have that question for Floyd?
Well, as you all know, I'm never short on words, so I might have two questions for Floyd over here. So you say pray, and I love the response. I want you to, or I'd like to dive a little bit deeper on that because I always say praying is talking to God, meditating is listening to God. In your combination between praying, meditating, where you go, walk us through or share with us maybe things you're asking for God, or for those that might be on here, be like, well, I've been praying for frickin' years, Floyd, and it just doesn't seem to work. And I would encourage, that's called faith, but to each their own. But walk us through a little bit about like that, your prayer of what that looks like to get you into the successful position that you are, to have that serving, nurturing mentality. And then when you get done with prayer, what type of tactical or action steps do you think somebody could take today once they finish their prayer? Where would you guide them?
You bring up a good point about faith because that's one of the pieces to it. And you have to have, faith in the process, faith in the relationship that you have with God, right? So, but here's the thing, you also have to have action. So are you preparing for the moment? So for example, this morning before the podcast, I had a conversation with God, Heavenly Father. I just ask you to protect my thoughts, guard my tongue, guide my actions, that we may connect on the podcast so that we can discuss issues that you want others to hear about, right? And then after that prayer, I let it go. I don't, I release it and I just trust in him. I have faith that the conversation that you and I and everyone else on the podcast will have is the direction that he wants us to go. So that's kind of the process. But I've also put in the work to prepare so that I have the right information and tools, for the podcast so that can be a successful episode.
I love it. And Jada, you also put it in there because that was the first thing faith without works is dead. Like you know, and I say this just because of my mindset. All like we can pray all day long, but if you decide to go to bed when you get done, like God's saying, like, hey, there's only so much I can do for you, but like going under the covers is not going to get you to your next step. All you got to like meet me in the middle. I can plant the seed and help you out, but you got to get your watering and nurturing in, and you got to do that. And so I loved your message and on how you share that, because you pray and then boom, you let it go, and then it's time to jump in. It's not like you were hiding or you didn't even have you had your video on, you're dressed to impress, like you took action and get yourself ready mentally, physically, emotionally, good night's sleep, water, nutrition to do that stuff before you can get here. So when you are here, as I shared about the Eagle Scout, like being prepared. It wasn't like, well, I guess I'll just show up today in my PJs. Like, no, like here he is, ready to rock and roll and shine. So I want to just personally say thank you. And we did put all his information in the chat. And I'm going to let Michelle close us out going into the weekend. But guys, all his contact information, podcast, his book is all in the link. I'm telling you all, this is a good dude right here. I'd get myself around him and have a conversation with him in some capacity, get his book, his podcast, because these are the right people in this room and culture environment. So Floyd, thank you so much, and God bless you, man. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me. I'm truly blessed.
Thank you, Floyd, so very much for sticking with us today through the obstacles and being with us. Your story on leadership and your heart in helping others is really what Figure It Out Friday is all about. And as top of the morning, we believe that no matter what the obstacles, we have choices to make today. And I could have been mad, I could have been sad, but I'm glad that we're here and we're able to do this. And thank you, everyone, for joining us. If something spoke to you today, and I know it did, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with somebody. And we look forward to encouraging other people. This is Michelle Wright, and I want you to join Chad Free on Monday's Motivational Mindset Show. And have a blessed and purposeful day, everybody. Thank you, Floyd.